Last Friday, at the close of the news cycle, at a press conference in the White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest responded to a question as to the probability of this administration imposing sanctions on Israel for the settlements. And Mr. Earnest replied, "I'm not going to talk about any sort of internal deliberations inside the administration and certainly not inside the White House." He was pushed on this question, and he said, "I'm not willing to talk about those kinds of conversations. We believe settlements are illegitimate. We have deep concerns about highly contentious planning and construction activities that the Israeli government is pursuing in East Jerusalem and the West Bank, Judea and Samaria, the heartland of Israel, actually. We believe those settlements are counterproductive." One writer says, "The imposition of sanctions on Israel over its policies in the West Bank would mark a significant diplomatic shift on the U.S. For the U.S., which over the past years has consistently condemned building over the 1967 lines, but has not taken concrete steps to try to curb such activities." Just a brief history overview. In the 1967 war, the Arabs attacked Israel, and Israel recaptured all of Jerusalem and the West Bank. These were the spoils of war, and now the attackers, the Arabs, want the land returned as a reward for their attacks. Now, that should never happen, and I think that Israel has strongly considered in the past, and perhaps will do so in the future, and that is to annex these lands that are at issue here. But this is a bold and perilous attempt on the part of this government. I hope and I pray that the Obama administration will not pursue sanctions against Israel. Biblically, there are precedents where God has used nations to punish Israel for certain issues, but they in turn have been doubly punished for being the vehicle through which the punishment came upon the Jews. This is foolhardy. This is a blatant attempt to invite judgment and wrath on this country by our leadership. They are placing us in peril if they pursue this. And I think it's good to be reminded exactly what the scriptures say about this. In Psalm 132, verse 13, the scriptures say, "For Yahweh has chosen Zion, he has desired it for his dwelling place." His dwelling. This is God's dwelling place. God has decreed that as such. He tells us in the closing verses of 135, Psalm 135, "Praise be to Yahweh from Zion." Zion is a metaphor for all of Israel, including Jerusalem. Praise be to Yahweh from Zion, to him who dwells in Jerusalem. He dwells there even as we speak. He's in absentia, but he's there anyway. And he will be there forthrightly and in person at some point. And then in Psalm 137, we read these familiar words. "If I forget you, O Jerusalem, let my right hand forget its skill. Let my tongue cling to the roof of my mouth if I do not remember you, if I do not consider Jerusalem my highest joy." Jerusalem and the West Bank are lands, or as a city, decreed by covenant on the part of God to Abraham and his descendants for the Jewish people. That's not going to change. That's for eternity. And in the words of Prime Minister Netanyahu, Jerusalem is not a settlement. It is not a settlement. It's the decreed city of God's presence, and that's not going to change. Woe be unto us if we attempt to change that. Till next week, Od Ki Yavo Shiloh, or until Messiah comes, Yivareka Yahweh. God bless you. God bless yours.